This time on Low Boost, I drive a BMW M2, and I see if I'd trade my M235 in for it. I really was looking at getting an M2 before I got my M235. However, it was May of 2017, the M2 had just come out, and they were selling like $15,000 over sticker, whereas I got my M235 for 30 grand. So for $45,000 less, I thought I was getting a car that, you know, was basically almost the same thing and just made 45 horsepower less, which I could change because I knew I was going to modify it anyway. Fast forward a couple years later, after doing a bunch of track days and really kind of getting the feel for the car, as much as I love my M235, and it is probably the best BMW I've ever owned, and I've owned N54 ones. You guys can fight me in the comments. This car was better than any 335 I've ever had. There are some things that lack on the M235, and I really wanted to see the difference in an M2. Because you know, the limitations that I've seen on my car are I can't fit wide tires on it, and I really want to do that for tracking. It really kind of helps, especially with the power that I'd like to run on it. I have to turn down the power when I'm at the track because it's just too much, and based on my driving abilities, and it's overpowering the car almost. Also, my M235 didn't come with an LSD, and I wish it did. I feel like it's illegal. PSA for auto manufacturers: if you're going to make a sports car, don't make a sports car if it doesn't have an LSD. Don't do that. That should be illegal. I'm going to say this again for the car manufacturers in the back. If you are making a sports car, do not make it without a limited slip differential.
This episode is brought to you by Extreme Powerhouse. Whether you have an Audi, a BMW, a Ford Mustang, check them out. They have a lot of great performance parts, and if you guys go on their website and use my coupon code LOWBOOST, you'll get access to some extra special discounts. So make sure you guys visit them, and the next time you buy a performance part, make sure it's with Extreme Powerhouse and use the coupon code LOWBOOST, all one word.
I had the opportunity to do a install for a friend of mine. His name's Ryan. He has a blue BMW M2, and after we were done doing the install, I'll put a link in the description below, and up top a link to the video that we did to the install his RW carbon fiber front splitter for his M2. I got the opportunity to drive his car, and he got the opportunity to drive mine. So really kind of feel the differences between the two. So I'm going to share my experience with you guys here with that. The M2 is a car that I would actually consider getting in the future. However, part of me doesn't want to get the N55 M2 because it's too similar to the one I have now. And I'm kind of worried about the M2 competition because of the crank hub situation that they have. I'd like to see some long-term data on how the fixes are working on those. And that kind of leaves me with the M240i, which has the same problems that I have in the M235, but it has a more powerful engine, so it'll probably make it even worse. So still kind of up in the air what I'm going to do with that. I kind of want a dedicated track rat. Not going to lie. Piece of crap, track rat, beat the snot out of. But I still want to have a nice other car to drive, you know, on the street too. So here's my experience with the M2.
He's let me drive his car right now, and yeah, it's definitely stiffer than my car. I'm not a fan of the automatic rev match. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's definitely would have to take some getting used to for sure. But let me go around this. I'll feel a little how stiff it is here. Yeah, I mean, I'm not pushing it, but there's just more grip. I can just feel it. Straight line acceleration though, I think my car is faster. Ooh, felt the rear end, yeah. It's got a different sound to it than my car. Wow, the auto blip shift definitely does it for you. You have a lot more grip. That limited slip differential makes a big difference. Yeah, so differences between this car and my car that I already know before even driving an M2 is the limited slip differential in this makes a big difference. Me having an open diff or an electronic limited slip differential, it's not nearly as grippy as that, and I really noticed it as I started becoming a little bit better driver on the track. Coming out of turns where I really want to come out tight, I'm one wheel peeling, and so I have to almost take those wider just to even gain speed or momentum coming around because I know I'm going to break the tires loose.
I feel like I have the downshift there. One wheel peel. You know it.
I would not have that issue with this car. Also, I mean, I haven't tested the brakes, but just by looking at them, oh my God, the brakes in this car are much better. I mean, and I've upgraded the pads and I've upgraded to slotted rotors on my car, but they're not as big and they're not M brakes. These are M brakes. Well, they're not full M brakes. These are full M2 brakes. So definitely more responsive there. I mean, obviously you're gonna do a tune on the car and you do that kind of stuff, it will definitely make it faster or as fast as my car. But even this is still pretty quick stock, you know, 365 horsepower. I think what do they dyno at the wheels, like 330? Yeah. So it's still there. But yeah, if I had this car, I would probably never get rid of it. I don't blame you, Ryan. This is Ryan's car. I don't blame him for him telling me he's never going to get rid of this car. I wouldn't either. It is the ultimate driver M2. Or it's ultimate driving BMW. It's the best driving BMW that they've made since the E39 M5, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm dead serious. Next, Ryan drove my M235, and here's how that went.
It's pretty loud from the outside, like not car people, but just not tuner people, I should say, car people. And I'm like, yeah, I want it louder, like because when you're in it, the car is so sealed up so nicely, you can't hear shit in there.
No.
Yeah, I can feel the flat spots in the tires. Driving it like super slow and super smooth, and I can even feel how much like power.
You feel it? Yeah. It's because of the way that the boost comes on. The boost comes on quick, so you got a lot more torque right in this, quick, even at low RPMs for sure.
Yeah. So
it still shows the old, because it if you have boot mod, I think it changes it, but JB4 does not show the difference up there.
Gotcha.
Make it right here.
That's pretty helpful. That's sweet. I wish my car had like the old M cars where they adjust the red line based on temperature.
Yeah, they don't. Mine. Yeah, my E46 did that.
Yeah. Oh, so did you have an E46 before?
Yeah, I had an E46. So you can do second gear pull, make a right here, and then you can get some good straight there. No, it's limiting you. Yeah, you're still not even warm yet. You wait till this thing freaking kicks on. You can make it right here.
With your tire gauges up here, does it tell the temperature of each and the air pressure on each, or is it just like just general?
General.
That's how my wife's was, and I couldn't remember what the M235i is.
My wife's tells me the exact one though.
Yeah, so that's what mine does too.
How does that feel?
Nice. I like it. I got a smile on my face.
I should have used the gimbal.
House, so I could literally do that with it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice. Jeez, the ground's cold. Yeah, I can see how fast this would be in the
This isn't even. This is on 93. This isn't even on ethanol.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is
Oh, so you have it hooked up so you can do
I can do E30 ethanol and I can run race gas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because of just the tune, or do you have something else?
No, your car can do it too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just they with this. There it is. That's 15 psi. With the
engines do sound different. You're right. Like the exhaust.
The exhaust, yeah. Well, you don't have any cats. If you want to go around again, you can.
Yes.
Make it right. Yes.
Life can wait. I really want to pull that turn right there, but I don't trust the cold right now. It's actually gripping like pretty. Even when it slips, it still grips.
NTO5s.
That's the tire.
That's the tire.
And then just replace all four.
Oh yeah.
Because I hate the tire that I have now.
Yeah, they're okay.
Exactly.
I really
They're okay.
I like the NTO5s. They're good in the cold. They're good in the warm. They're good on the track. They're good in the rain.
Just good everywhere.
Obviously, M2 exhaust. The exhaust is better as it is. But if you have the downpipe, yeah, you can make it right here.
It's going to be awesome.
It will sound a little bit more than this. Pull the window down.
Yeah, like we do that too.
He initially wanted me to drive his car because he wanted me to see how the difference was and how stiff it was. And I'm like, yeah, to be honest with you, I'm really not going to be able to see the difference in how stiff the car is by just driving around the neighborhood. I really feel like I'm only going to notice that on the track. I was completely wrong. Ryan was right. As soon as I got in the M2, even going 30 miles an hour around the neighborhood, I could feel the car was significantly stiffer. And it's still a similar chassis, but they did a lot of stuff at BMW to really strengthen and stiffen the chassis to make it much more track focused. And that definitely is where my car is lacking.
So it wasn't like it was a lot of big things that made a difference between the two cars. It was a lot of little things. The limited slip differential, the fact that the car is a little bit wider with the fender flares, things that you don't really notice until you look under the car. I just have like a, cardboardish kind of carpety type thing that goes over the engine tray underneath. And actually on the M2, it's solid metal and it's bolted in there pretty hard, which actually is gonna stiffen the chassis up in the front a lot, and I think that makes a difference. And there's also reinforcement supports in the front of it as well that by the strut tower and all that stuff that kind of reinforce it in the front as well. So I didn't even get a chance to look at the back, but I could assume that they only did the same thing in the back of the car. So those are the big differences in chassis stiffness, whatever chassis stiffness is. I don't know. We could figure that out. All in all, getting rid of the M235 for an N55 M2 just kind of still puts me between a rock and a hard place, because the M235 is about 75 to 80% of the car that the M2 is, but it's still more than 50% less than even a used M2. So I'm really kind of stuck what I want to do with the car. I'm trying to let my wife let me keep the M235 and get two more, but we'll see how that discussion goes, which currently is not going so well. But we'll see how that goes. I do want to get a more track-focused car, and if I get a more track-focused, dedicated car, I would get a different car to drive around town on the street. So we'll have to kind of see what the different options are. Let me know what you guys think I should get next, or what you think I could trade my car in for a more track-ready car in the comments below. I appreciate you guys' feedback. I always love it. So if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you do. I got a video that I post up just about every week on not only just my M235, I have a BMW E36 Turbo LS swap. I have a 1970 Camaro Super Sport that I'm restoring with my father that we're going to do an LS swap in as well. We also have a 1953 Ford F100 pickup truck we're in the middle of restoring too. So we have a lot of great projects up and coming for 2020 on the YouTube channel. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. As always, thank you very much, and I'll catch you in the next one.